This is a tribute to my father. I originally started out writing out my thoughts and treating it much like I would a normal tribute. And in the end, I really didn't feel satisfied. I didn't feel like, at least for me, that I had captured the essence of who my father was and certainly how I felt about him and how I think many of my brothers and sisters feel about him. So I'd like to recite a poem that I wrote this week that I think, at least for me, captures the essence of what my father is for me and me coming to understand who he was, at least through my eyes. I never thought of my father as a healer, but he is. I never saw my father rooted to soil, but he is. I thought he was aloof and untouched, but deep runs his feeling. As father and son, we touched in work, participating in his redemptive act of work. My childish struggles in his watchful eye, letting me stumble or strive, learning myself. My voice he gave by insisting, sweat on sweat, feeling the ripple of muscle and creativity, finding the path to new ways, yet not shirking hand upon task. The sweat of our mutual endeavor, of endless tasks that grew great love from resentment, grew joy from bitterness, instilled memories of giving and caring, of responsibility and duty, the farm, the clinic, the home, the land, the client, the family. In his sweat I felt the love of healing, the love of soil, and deepest feelings. In my childish window I saw Colossus, the power of arms, the skill of knots, the grace of practical, but no healer. My childish eyes saw endless procession, task by list and lists of tasks. I missed the gentlest touch of caring, his caring for the voiceless, hearing their voice and healing. I did not see the ironic art of burping a mortician's brew to ease the ailing, the skillful retraction of disease and suffering, in the darkest corners, in mud, in rain, in snow. Cold hands made warm, touching the innermost recesses of the animal body, touching by tractor light, by intuition, stitching by rote across seams ragged cut, risking ammonia-drenched straw in crumbling pens, tied to a lonely post in a lonely corner of an outstretched field. And so he healed and saved. My father is a healer. In my childish window, I see the flowers bloom. I pass the fields of grass for harvest and shrubs in bud, and I wonder why such joy. Then I turn inward eye and watch a man at peace as he breaks the soil. The smell of diesel and the shattering drone upturns a new formed trench, seed, water, life. The preparing, the planting, the harvest, the joy late at night after a day's work is done, a new work of peace slowly up and down fields. The solidity of a well-stretched fence, the power of a well-set post, the gentle flood of a new broached dike, the joy of symmetric furrows. But soil reaches higher, more than planting and harvesting, walking among the gentle grazers, knowing each animal, understanding thoughts and distractions by subtle movement, the coloring, the step, the disposition, all signs that speak of life and seasons. The work is singing, undulates with time and place, the quiet summer hum, the starkness of windswept winters, patterns and cycles, a comforting repetition, all connected, blending, to give way to chance of weather and land to be present. But to see it through my father's eyes, born of the soil, a farmer turned vet, never letting go of that powerful presence planted by his father. Nurtured on the higher steps and waving grasses of southern ridges, preserved in the stillness of a solitary man, my father is rooted to the soil. In my childish window I cry for Robert Service. Here the nobility of working men, the hardy ravages of weather and work, of tough men meeting death, smiling their furnace smile, laughing their dance of death. Were these the voices of my father? What numbness grows a toughened shell, thinking the moral is shirking pain and loss, to soldier forward and get on with life. And yet, this is where I shun the child's window, and see the child within, a father shy. His memories of failure or failing still fresh, covered by worthy success. The vulnerability masked by all the wiles of his generation, but seeping round the edges, seeping so that his sons can see, seeping so that his daughters can see the outlines of a deeper man. Stumbling with words, not knowing how to touch a soul, and yet he touches. His words soothe. He is my father. My father feels deeply.